Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I am so happy to have you here. It's been several weeks since I filmed, so I apologize if I'm a little scatterbrained, but I'm hoping for a good week and I'm excited to bring y'all along with me. But before we get into the vlog, I kind of wanted to give a little bit of an update on the last time I talked to you guys. In my last vlog, I spoke at the end about body image, and I wanted to give a little bit of a warning before we get into the conversation that this is going to be about body image and some restricted eating stuff. So if you are not in a place where you can hear talk of that, I would go ahead and skip to when it's no longer on the screen. I spoke in my last vlog about how I was having a lot of body image issues, especially around my hair. I would say that issue has kind of gone away. I was struggling with looking in the mirror and not really recognizing myself, but I would say I'm kind of settled into the color and it doesn't bother me as much as it did. It's definitely not my favorite and I do miss the red, but it's not bothering me quite like it did. But that doesn't mean that my body image issues have really gone away. Over the past month or so, I've been struggling a lot with feeling comfortable within myself, not feeling completely disgusted when I look in the mirror, and just feeling like I'm not at home in my own body, which is a very weird feeling. It's something that I've definitely struggled with in the past, but unfortunately this go round I did not take it in stride and talk about it in therapy and work through it like I really should. I instead decided to do some things that were not very healthy. I won't get into the nitty-gritty of it all, but I was not eating. I was substituting meals for coffee, and I was not taking my medication. The medication thing was more from the fact that I wasn't eating and I didn't have the energy to refill my med bottles, like refill my med holder or go to the pharmacy and even get my meds. So I was off my meds for like a good week, and I'm not gonna again get into the details, but withdrawals from an antidepressant are tough. But it came to a head when my therapist asked me how my medication was going. It's like a routine question that she asked me every other week or something like that. And I just broke down and I told her exactly how I'd been treating myself, and we worked through and made a plan on stuff that I wanted to do, and we really talked about a lot of the disappointment in the self-sabotaging behaviors that I was exhibiting, and it's really hard to kind of shake that disappointment in myself. That was obviously a couple of weeks ago, and since then I've been eating like I should, snacking whenever I get hungry, and I'm back on my medication. But a lot of the disappointment I still really feel and am battling with. I really let myself down. I have been working so hard for the past year and a half, especially mentally, to get myself to a healthy state. And I feel like I wasn't acting like the person that I strive to be, and I also was kind of sabotaging all of those efforts that I had made up to this point. I'm someone that preaches about taking care of yourself, listening to your body, giving yourself grace. And at a time when I really needed to rest and give myself a little bit easier on myself, I instead was really hard and deprived my body the nutrients it needed to get better. And so all of the issues that I was having were just exacerbated, and the episode just went longer than it really needed to. The dissonance was just really hard to deal with, and it was all self-imposed to a certain extent. Like, obviously brain chemistry and things I can't control, but to a certain extent I was doing it to myself. I think my plan for the next couple of weeks is to focus on the little victories. I think when we especially consume a lot of idealized productive weeks and it girl routines, we kind of get lost in the minutia of why we're actually doing things, and we also forget to celebrate the little goals that come up that we complete, because we're trying so hard to move on to the next goal. So in an effort to be kinder to myself and celebrate my little victories, I'm going to be working on keeping myself grounded and present over the next couple of weeks. This isn't intended, and I hope nobody takes it as like a soapbox video, because it's certainly not, and I think that I have worked really hard to be as authentic as I can be and be as open and honest, and I never want anybody to feel like I'm saying that the way that I'm living or what I want to live or how I want to live is the way that anybody else should be living. I just want this to be an extension of the core of who I am, and I want it to serve as a point of connection with anybody else who might have struggled similarly to me. So I don't ever want anybody else to feel like I'm preaching to them, because I'm truly not. And I hope that you guys will enjoy the vlog, will enjoy the process, and that you will join me on it. So that being said, let's get into the vlog. Let's enjoy our week. Okay, hopefully the lighting isn't too terrible. I wanted to talk about what I have been watching over the past couple days while I do my laundry. So hopefully the sound doesn't get too bad. It's getting hot here, and so we need fans, we need AC, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully this can mitigate it, but you can still hear me. My partner and I decided we were going to get movie passes. Basically, you pay like a fee every month and you get essentially unlimited movies, like more movies a month than we could possibly see. So we got those passes and we went and saw Thunderbolts last week. We're probably gonna do movies like every week or every other week, but we got it last week. We went and saw Thunderbolts. It's the new like Avengers movie, and the main character are like off-brand Avengers characters. I was like pretty optimistic, I guess, about it. I'm not a huge Marvel/superhero fan, but I figured that it would be at least decent. It wasn't really funny. I think was missing a lot of like the Marvel flair. There was one character who was like one of the older characters that was really funny. He's from Stranger Things, and he was like great in that show, and he was good in this. And he was definitely funny, but the rest of the characters I definitely wouldn't say were very funny. But there was a certain point where it actually got really good, and if you've seen it, you probably can imagine. There's a moment where the characters they're just like working through some stuff. The main villain of the movie's power has a lot to do with shame. Very, very well done. It's a very impactful and tender moment that was really nice to see. But overall, I wouldn't say the movie itself was the best. And then we also have been watching some movies at home. So we watched 2 the past couple of days. One was murder mystery. One of my favorite genres of media is murder mysteries. Love murder mystery books, love murder mystery movies. So I was kind of hoping, as the name would suggest, that it would be more of like an Agatha Christie sort of murder mystery along the lines of The Glass Onion, and it was not, unfortunately. I'm not a big Adam Sandler fan, but I decided to give it a shot. It was more in line with a lot of the most recent Adam Sandler movies that he's done, where it's just like a lot of action, much more thriller than mystery, but they're basically a married couple who takes a vacation and they get involved in this rich people drama, including like inheritances, someone dies, and so they're kind of suspected of having done it, and also they're trying to figure out who did it. But it's a lot of like thrillery aspects. It was fun. I wouldn't say it was particularly funny, but it wasn't like a bad watch. And then today, before he left for Lorcana, we watched Heart Eyes, which is on Netflix, and I think it's a relatively new release. It's basically like a rom-com mixed with a slasher, which is just like two of my favorite things. So this group of coworkers have to work together to escape this killer who has been driving around the US and murdering couples every Valentine's Day, and now he's in their city and they're not together, but he seems to think they are, and so they're trying to like figure out who he is and also escape him. And it's so fun. It's like not serious at all, and it makes fun of all of the thriller, slasher, and rom-com trope. It's funny, it's fun. It's not something that I will like revisit or remember in 5 years, maybe even a year, but it's super fun, and it's like a good little date night movie, I think, or like a good little movie to watch with friends to laugh at. So both it and Murder Mystery gave 3 stars, like 3 out of 5, and Thunderbolts I would also give 3 out of 5. I might rewatch Thunderbolts and like enjoy it more than I did, but it's quite long, and I just wasn't as, I don't know, it just didn't feel like a Marvel movie. I have been watching Étoile, which is a new movie, a new show. Amy Sherman-Palladino, the same woman who did Gilmore Girls, and it's essentially about 2 ballets, one in New York, one in France, and both of them are struggling financially, so they decide to swap performers, have like a year-long swap. And so we're following the 2 different ballets through the swap to see how it goes. I'm halfway through episode 2, and I'm so freaking into it. I'm so into it. It's really good. It's the perfect blend of witty and dramatic and funny, lighthearted, with a lot of like emotion peeking through. Storylines are interesting. The characters are fascinating. They're very different than the Gilmore Girls characters, and I'm just so interested to see where the show goes. It feels like a very modern, like obviously Gilmore Girls is not that old, but I didn't watch Miss Maisel or whatever it's called, even though it's on my list. I said I just started it. I'm only on episode 2. I struggle to watch TV shows, especially if the episodes are over like 30 minutes. I tend to take breaks and then come back to them, just because I have ADHD in it. I struggle to sit still and focus on one thing for that long. So that's what I've currently been watching. So I would say like check out any of the movies that I mentioned if you're interested. I think they're all pretty good. I wouldn't say spend money on Thunderbolts personally, in my opinion. I don't think it's that good, but it's definitely like a movie to watch if you can get it for free on like a streaming platform. But for sure, check out Étoile. It's really good if you liked Gilmore Girls, if you like drama comedies with some romance. Like, we haven't had any romance yet, but I know there's going to be romance. If you like shows like that, definitely check it out. So that's what I've been watching. I'm going to finish folding my laundry, continue watching the show. I'll check in later. I have been in the mood to cry for some reason. I think I've just been so emotionally like stunted for the past like month that I have just wanted a good cry. So I picked up some books from the library on Sunday that I was hoping would do the trick. And I finished one of them, and it didn't make me cry, but it was a little bit emotional. So today I finished Watch Over Me, which, can we talk about this cover? It's super good, but this is basically a magical realism story. It's a YA novel. It follows a woman who is recently graduated. She's undergone some shit. She's been in the foster care system since she was a preteen, and now she has gotten a job working at a farm, and the farm has ghosts. And so we're dealing with a lot of grief, a lot of healing, found family for quite a short number of pages. This story was kind of emotional. Like at the end I did tear up a little bit. This story is just very melancholy, very quiet, very sad. A little bit of like what the fuck's going on, but mostly you're just working with this main character to find place, find happiness while slowly unraveling her past and the things that she's been through and the things that are like sticking with her. She's finding a family in a place when she's never had it, and it was a lovely story. Ultimately, I did settle on a 3-star for it, but it's very well done, and I really appreciated the pace. I have not really heard a lot about this novel aside from it being grief, ghosts, and having kind of a creepy feeling. I didn't feel creeped out during this. I felt a lot of hope. I felt a lot of big emotions, a lot of healing and grief and all of that kind of stuff. So I was expecting it to be a little bit more creepy than it was. It might be this author's other novel that I'm thinking about, but overall I think this is a really good story, and I can see it being incredibly impactful if read at the right time. But I loved the way that the story ended. So like the last 20-30 pages were impeccable. So I appreciated this, but it didn't quite get me to the emotional level that I wanted. So I think we're going to pick up the ones we're meant to find. I do know this is largely about sisterhood, and I think the main character is trying to find her missing sister. This is a little bit longer than Watch Over Me, but I have heard, again, nothing but good things about this one as well. So I'm gonna jump in. It's actually not that much longer. It's like 300 pages, whereas this one was like 250-ish pages. So yeah, I'm gonna jump into this. We'll see if I cry. I briefly had My Friends, or the new Frederick Bachman book, on hold, and I ended up releasing the hold. I probably should have kept it because Frederick Bachman's stories make me cry every time, but we're gonna hope this does the trick, and then we're gonna move on to some fantasy romance, fantasy series situations. So let's dive into this one. Whoa! So I have been home for a couple of hours now. It's a little after 5. I have done all my chores. I have fed the cats. I've showered. Side note, my red is really starting to show. My hair grows really fast, I guess. My roots are coming through. It's only been 3 weeks and my roots are like really popping up. I'm happy for it because I prefer, like, I definitely prefer my red to the black. I'm unhappy about it because I don't want it to look like this, you know, until the black fade. Put it up at the gym. It's questionable, but I'm done, pretty much done for the day. I'm just waiting for my partner to get home. We're gonna play some video games together, but I'm just kind of like doing some life admin stuff, and I thought I could show you 2 separate ways that I worked with my therapist on habit tracking. So one of the things that is hardest for me personally is hygiene, taking my meds, and being consistent with exercise. The exercise is a little bit easier just because, like, I just go straight from work to the gym, so I don't really have to think about it. But especially taking my meds and hygiene has always been a really hard thing for me to keep track of. It just is something that I've struggled with my whole life. I know it's common for people with autism, especially in autism and ADHD. I have tried various different ways to track those things and make sure that I'm doing them, but I worked with my therapist the other week when we had that conversation about not eating, and she had me identify the like top things that I need to do every day or every week to be like doing what I should be doing. So I talk often about the pressure that I put on myself for my weeks to look like they should look. And so I've done 2 separate things, one of which I made myself, one of which was a recommendation on her end. So I'm going to share with you my Notion. I use Notion for pretty much everything. I also do a physical journal that I haven't shown you guys in a long time, but I use Notion for like planning and stuff like that. So I also created a little bit of a habit tracker. This is what my Notion looks like. Before, it was in this little section right here. So this is my home page. It was in this little section right here with like a little habits header. But I since have added something to my phone that I'm going to try out. So in the interim, I want to keep it in a place that it's not going to be bothering me. So back up on my links, I have this section for life goals. And it's just a little tracker that I can move over. And so I've moved, well, I thought I moved my habits here. So where did they go? Oh, they're here for some reason. This is the tracker. So I have all of the things that I want or need to do in a day that I want to track that make me feel like I'm doing things that I should be doing. So journaling, movement of some kind, water, hygiene, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and meds. Those, I would say those bottom 4 things, the breakfast, lunch, dinner, and meds, I am really, I think, gonna go on and off tracking them, but for now, given where I was at a couple weeks ago with food and meds, it's something that I want to keep top of mind, which is the whole point of this. And so I think this is like a really easy thing to create for yourself. This is just a template like that someone else made that you can make for yourself. Notion is fantastic. It's very customizable, and I might go back to using this. So that is an option that I would recommend. So I sat down with my therapist and she asked me what were the things that I feel like I need to do to be where I need to be at. And I said, originally I said journaling, exercise or movement, water, hygiene, and meds. And then I've since added the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then I also have like a TV movie episode, TV movie section, just because I want to keep that top of mind as well. It's a habit that I'm trying to get into, where I'm not just AFKing on my couch after a long day watching like Twitch or something. I actually want to be pretty intentional about how I'm using my time outside of reading and my gaming and stuff like that. So that is something that I've added recently. There is a new app that I set up today after today's therapy session. So this is my home screen. I really, really like this app that I'm about to talk to you about, because it does have like a little widget on the phone, as you can see, which is super cute because it's like a reminder that I need to get it done. So when you open the Finch app, that's what it's called, Finch, you're essentially, there's a lot of like self-care, pet taking care of apps out there. This is just the one that was recommended to me by my therapist, and she said she's had good success with this. So this is free, which I appreciate. There are some like personal modifications and stuff you can do through the app. You have to have premium to like change your icons and stuff like that. I'm personally not going to do that. So I just did my little quiz on what my goals and stuff were, and this is what it came up with. And then you obviously can change the goals as you go. So like brush teeth, wash my face, stretching, all of that kind of stuff that was already in there. And then I was able to go to my little goals profile. By the way, my little bird's name is Bean, which I think is really cute. But you can go to your goals area and add all of your goals. So I obviously need to this isn't showing as a daytime thing. Oh, so you can obviously, as you see I'm doing now, it's a very customizable option. So you can even invite a goal buddy, which I think is very fun. So like if you have daily exercises that you do with someone, you can invite them to do this. And then if I wanted to set up a premium, I could change that little icon right there. I think this is a great, cute option. If you are someone like me who needs kind of a motivation to track and gets kind of bored if I don't have a motivation to track, I think this is a really good option. I know it's on Android and it's in the App Store. I'm obviously not sponsored. Like I said, I got this from my therapist, and I do believe that there's like other things that you can do on it. I haven't unlocked that yet, but there's little quests that you can do. There's daily quests and special quests, and you're evolving and growing your toddler, or your Finch. And I think there's little outfits and furniture and things you can buy. I think it's just like a very cute, interactive option for anybody that sort of needs motivation to do these things. And I haven't even fully explored the app myself, but I like so far what I've seen, and I'm going to be trying it instead of Notion. So how I'm tracking my habits and stuff, I would love to know how you track them and what works for you. And if you end up trying the Finch app and or Notion, I would also love to know that. But for the rest of the evening until my partner gets home in a couple of hours, I'm probably going to continue playing some Marvel Rivals. This weekend we are going to a Lorcana tournament, so I have been trying to really I haven't been playing Lorcana really since the last events season, and so I have been trying to improve. So I've been playing a lot of that, but I kind of am burnt out on it. So play Marvel Rivals, and then probably we're gonna, when he gets home, we'll have dinner and we might game a little bit together. But I don't foresee myself doing much else this evening, so I'll probably just talk to you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. I'm kind of hoping that I can just work from home. We'll see, but that is that. We'll talk later. Okay friends, it is the end of the vlog. I thought I would give a quick wrap up on how my week went and what I'm currently reading and stuff. I had a good week. I know I didn't really talk too terribly much. I had some big intentions for this video, but they just didn't work out, and I think kind of flows into my next point, which is that I don't really know what sort of videos I want to be making. And as I explore that concept, I probably am going to be doing one video a week, likely vlogs, but occasional media videos. So that's just going to be my filming schedule for the foreseeable future. If I happen to have 2 videos a week, cool, but it's going to be like 1 video. So regardless, I hope you will stick around for the vlogs or the media videos or whatever. That is that. Let's talk about what I am reading. So I tried to read that Sisterhood book, and it just wasn't my kind of story. It was like post-apocalyptic, and it just wasn't for me. So I decided to move on to The Last Blood Carver and also A Magic Steeped in Poison. These are both YA fantasy. This is about blood magic and this is about tea magic. These are reading pretty young to me, and I've got to be completely honest, I'm a romantic girl and I'm missing my adult romantic right now, but I'm still going to try to give these a shot, especially this one. They're so gorgeous, and you know, they say don't judge a book by its cover, but these covers are just so stunning that I want to understand them, you know, I want to love them. So I'm going to continue to give these a shot and hope that I can really get into them. But my next vlog, I might end up reading some adult fantasy. I have these, for many, many, many weeks. I think I have them until the beginning of next month, so I have plenty of time. These are on Kindle Unlimited. This is an audiobook for my library, so I have plenty of options as far as trying to get these read, and I want to give them like my best shot. But I have been craving rereads, specifically of some ACOTAR, so that might be in my future. I have some other romantices on my Kindle that I want to read, so the next week is just gonna book-wise be up in the air. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video regardless. I know it was a little bit all over the place, but it was a much better week mentally than I've had in a while, and I'm proud of some of the things that I was able to work through by myself and also in therapy and stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys will consider sticking around for the future. If you are interested in watching more content from me, I would love for you to subscribe. Leave your comments down below on what you're reading or how your week went. Check out all my social medias linked down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next one.